Hi everyone, good to be with you today. We're going to carry on looking at keeping our souls healthy. So let's go over to someone who I'm sure you all know, Paul, who we're going to talk to about keeping our soul's health alive in the current climate. Hi there, Paul.
Hi, Rob. Yeah, we've been quite busy here, actually. So we've been doing some painting and decorating. So the room looks a little bit bare at the moment. but,
Paul, I just wanted to touch base with you today to be able for you to be able to share with some of the guys who are and girls who are listening online to our message today. You know, it'd be great to hear from you. How have you been? You and Babs been keeping in lockdown?
yeah, we've been. It's been very different. We've had to adapt and learn different ways of living and sort of trying to keep fit and looking after each other. I think is a good thing. Looking after the family and looking after Hannah and Darren and the family as well. And we've got Leah here, so I think initially it was a little bit of a struggle because I'm quite active normally. I like to get out and do my usual sort of active work outside running and things like that. But I think,
as you know, we've been talking about keeping our souls healthy. You know, we heard last week how Cammy, as a professional footballer, keeps himself healthy. How Louise, as a singer, performer, looks after herself. And yeah. Paul, I wonder today if you could just share with the people who are listening, you know, what are your thoughts on keeping your soul healthy in this time? You're a medic, you're a professional. You also mentioned there that you love to keep active and fit and stay strong. All things which, of course, are important. But how about your soul? How are you keeping your soul healthy in these times?
Well, I think for a while now, especially over the last 5-6 years, it's been pretty tough, really. And I think it all really started when Everly, our granddaughter, was born, and she ended up in hospital in ITU. And then things developed on a little bit because we found out that she had Turner syndrome, and then I lost my father, and then he died suddenly. We didn't expect that at all. He suddenly had cancer, so we had to deal with that, and looking after my mother who had dementia. So that I've sort of tried to. I could say, to be honest, it's been quite difficult, and in a way, I could say you could go into like depression a little bit, but I've found I've learned to try and, I think at the time, soak myself in God's word. I know it sounds quite spiritual, but that's a way that I've sort of adapted and learned. And I try and have my quiet time in walking around the golf club at the moment in Brecon.
Right.
And I think really read, because I try and discipline myself to read 2 or 3 chapters of the Bible a day. And as you do that, I think it sort of makes you stronger spiritually. And especially lately reading through Isaiah, I've been really sort of blessed by that, because I find that even when you're struggling, when you're perhaps feeling anxious about things, there's a verse in Isaiah 40 that says, "Do you not know, have you not heard, that the Lord our God is an everlasting God?" And in a way, it's like saying to me, do you not know? Have you not heard? Remember that I'm here. I'm here. God is here to help us. And sometimes I have to say to that over and over again when I sort of worry about something. I just have to remember that God is here. And just like God reminded the Israelites about what they'd been through and how he'd helped them. And God sort of reminds me about the different ways that he's helped me in the past. So remember God sort of says, remember what I did for you then, and I can do that for you now. That's really how I try and keep my soul healthy, by spending time with God and soaking myself in the word and things. So
that's absolutely brilliant, Paul. Thanks for that input and that advice. I'm sure people listening will really take that seriously.
Yes.
Great. Paul, thanks ever so much for joining us this morning. It's been great to hear you. I'm glad to see that you and Babs are keeping well. We look
Yes.
forward to seeing you shortly when things are reopening and we can get back to normal. Great to see you, Paul.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks. Okay, see you all for now.
Bye for now.
Bye now.
Good morning. Today's Bible reading is from Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
The best advice that I could give you for keeping your soul healthy, not just in this season of lockdown, but in fact in any season that we go through as individuals, comes straight from that verse that Deleth has just read, from Matthew chapter 11, where Jesus says those words, "Come to me and you will find rest for your souls." Now, that's not how today's culture tells us to look after our souls, to find rest for our souls. It's not how the media would tell us to find rest for our souls. In fact, they would probably say, if you want rest for your souls, you'll have rest when you get a better job. You'll have rest for your souls when you get that promotion, when you earn more money. You might have rest for your souls when you live in a bigger house. You might have rest for your souls maybe when you get that relationship that you've been longing for. Maybe when you look slightly differently. Maybe when you're in a bit better physical condition. How about this? Maybe you'll find rest for your souls when you retire. Maybe you'll find rest for your souls when the children leave home. What about this one? Maybe you'll find rest for your souls when lockdown lifts. Maybe you'll find rest for your souls when we find a vaccine for the coronavirus. Or maybe you'll find rest for your souls when your prayers eventually get answered. Well, guess what? That's not what the Bible says, and that's not what Jesus has said either. He says, "Come to me and you will find rest for your souls." You see, earlier in our conversation with Paul, he told us of how life changed dramatically for him when he lost loved ones, when he had ill health himself, when other people in his family were struck down with illness, and when even the gates of depression were knocking on his life. He was going through just real torment. And he said that what brought him through those situations was spending time alone with God, was coming to God and spending time with God each day. You see, Paul had discovered the reality of Psalm 16, verse 11, which says this: "You fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand." That's how we keep our souls healthy. Coming to Jesus, spending time with him and in his word, not with doing all of those other things that society says are important, but being with Jesus. Everything in this life has the right environment for it to flourish. Every living thing that exists in its right place. The birds exist in the sky. They flourish when they open their wings and they can fly. Fish flourish when they're in water and they can swim and glide through the waves. Plants flourish when they're in good soil. But if you take any of those creatures out of those environments, what happens? If you take a bird out of the sky, well, before long, it'll be caught by other animals and killed. If you take a fish out of water, what will happen? It will die. And if you take a plant out of soil, good soil, it will wither. And that's exactly what happens to our souls when you take our souls out of God's presence. When you take our souls out of spending time with God, we wither, we die, we can't survive. Just this week, we took a few days away as a family. We went down to Tenby just for a few days to make the most of being able to get out of the house and enjoy some good weather. We got there, and as we started going down the streets of Tenby, they were busy. And our children who were there, they saw, as we were walking through the town, they saw the sweet shop. They saw everything that Tenby has to offer, great ice cream shops, fish and chip shops, the beach, the sea. And they were keen to go in loads of different directions. But we had to say to them, come by me. Stay close to us. We'll get to see and enjoy everything in due time, but you'll do it with me by your side. And I think God would say something similar to us today. That if you stay close to me, you stay close to Jesus, you'll get to enjoy, you'll get to taste and see all that this life has to offer. But when we want to do it and when we go away from him and put our agenda above his agenda, then we're opening ourselves up to a whole host of things which aren't good. We're taking ourselves out of the environment of God's presence and God's living spirit inside us. And we're putting our trust in what we think is right. You see, the enemy's mission in your life and in my life is to kill, steal, and destroy. That mission hasn't changed. But it's also to kill, steal, and destroy our time with God. It's to kill, steal, and destroy our time with God by distracting us with other things, with things which might be important, but which aren't really important. He distracts our souls. He takes us away from God's presence. And I want to pray that in lockdown, we will become alert to the enemy tactics. We will become alert to how Satan wants to keep us away from spending time with God and distract ourselves with other things which just aren't important. You see, to go anywhere, you have to leave somewhere. And to come to Jesus, we also have to leave some things behind. And I want to suggest today that we might have to leave some places behind to come to Jesus. We might have to leave the place of regret behind to come to Jesus. We might have to leave the place of pride behind to come to Jesus. We might have to leave the place of other people's opinions behind in order to come to Jesus and know him as he wants to be known. The good news for you and for me today is that Jesus' invitation to come to him is still as real as ever. His invitation has not been closed down. His invitation has not been drawn. It is still there for you and I to come to him. And that's good news. And that is what can give rest and peace to our souls. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your invitation to come to you. And whether we came to you for the first time a long time ago, or whether we haven't come to you before, that invitation is still there. And I pray that for each and every person here watching this video, that we will take that step to put our trust in you, to come to Jesus, the one who gives rest to our souls. In Jesus' name, amen.